Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we'll be talking about Ironsight and how this fantastic free-to-play first-person shooter can finally be revived. For the people who've been out of the loop, for the past 8 or so months, Ironsight has been in a very rough patch, signified by the failed netcode update that occurred in September. From then, we have had a lack of updates and more importantly communication, as Area Games has kept the radio silent while the developers, Whipple Games, work furiously to fix Ironsight's core problems. So 2 months after the last content update, we finally have great news again. News which could make Ironsight one of the best free-to-play first-person shooters once again. This news is contained in the recently published HQ Report 4, which details the new additions and fixes that Ironsight desperately needs, so let's go through it together. First up is the change that everybody has been asking for, the netcode fix. If you don't know what the problem with the netcode is in Ironsight, I will link my video in the description below. It goes through the problem in a lot of detail and go on explaining why it affects this game so much. But when Whipple attempted to go and fix the netcode, change it from TCP to UDP back in September, it failed because they hadn't tested the update to anywhere near the extent that they needed to. While they probably did hundreds of in-house tests and simulated traffic and all that, none of that can go and compare to actual players connecting to the server. It's impossible to go and simulate that, especially when a netcode affects nearly every aspect of Ironsight's gameplay. When the netcode fix went live, the game and servers simply couldn't handle the player base, and thus the update was pulled, and it all went back to the drawing board. Months and months later, developers now have a new netcode update, but it needs that real-world traffic to go and sufficiently stress test it, so we don't have the same situation that we had in September. Now this is where the public test server comes in, and it's already live right now. I'll go and put the relevant download links in the description below, so we can hopefully get some people onto this public test server. The developers really need players to go and try it out so they can go and get the data they need. And I know there is still a lot of Ironsight fans out there. My last 2 videos got like 40 and 60k views each, so there is still a lot of fans. We just need people to get back in game so we can help out the devs. There is also rewards for getting to certain levels and playing a certain amount of matches per day, so if you want to go and boost your main account, then this is a great opportunity. On top of that, anybody that enters the public test server also gets a nice tag title as well. Personally, I think that this netcode update and public test server is a fantastic idea, especially as they're focusing on this is their #1 priority before a Steam release. They're getting the core issues sorted, then focusing on the full launch and all that. They're doing it in the order that makes sense. Like, Ironsight is a game where the player base has dropped quite a lot over the last couple months, but the developers, they're hard at work fixing a game, and if we go and see some really good results, then people will come back. The core gameplay was never the problem, it was the structure around it. If the structure gets fixed, people will come back, I'll come back, and honestly, I'm really excited. The next section of the report says that the senior project manager Chris visited the Whipple Games office and that they discussed some top secret things, which have been conveniently redacted from the report. I had a peek into the website source code and the images have been inserted directly into the web page. There's no text hiding beneath them or anything like that. So sadly, we don't have any more information about what these updates could potentially be. With that said, it's basically just a big cock tease, but hey, it's good to know that there's communication going back and forth between the teams, because for like the last 8 months or something like that, there has basically been like no public communication. Area Games has gone radio silent, and there was one HQ report, but from that, they just completely went off the map. So it's good to know that they're actually talking to the developer at least. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this report, the glimpse into the future, which is basically teasing the new updates. First up is the new ranked mode. They said it's coming, but there is no ETA, as the netcode update has #1 priority, which makes sense. Honestly, the old ranked mode was pure garbage, in part because of the low player base, but that's more of a result rather than the actual core problem. The core problem being that ranked was simply slapped together, it was an afterthought, there was no emphasis on it, there was no real focus. Even though the developer said, oh, we want to go esports and all that, it was simply there and no real care was put into it. So with that said, I am quite excited to go and see what the team's plan for this Rank 2.0 or new ranked mode or whatever it's called. So if we get any more news, I'll make sure to go and keep you guys in the loop. Next up is modes, and they go and say there's 2 new PvP modes on the way, along with more and better modes in PvE. Now, when they mean PvE, do they mean modes like Resource Takeover, where you shoot bots, or a completely new type of experience? The paragraph really doesn't go and answer my question, but there could be the possibility of like maybe a wave defense mode or something like that coming soon. We've seen it at Black Squad where you have to go and defend an area from bots just running at you and trying to go and kill you. It could very much work in Ironsight universe, like robots running at you, you have to go and take them out. I think it would be pretty cool, but honestly, we've got no idea. Now, when it comes to the PvP modes, they explicitly said they were new, but I just want free-for-all in the main rotation. It's my favorite FPS mode, and the fact it's custom game only is a big shame because I like going and pitting myself against other people and trying to go and show that I'm the best in the lobby. On top of that, it's really easy to go and start. You need like 6 or 8 people and you can get like a very good room going, so less people to start a room. I don't know why it's not in the main rotation, to be honest. Moving on, the developers also have been thinking about doing a battle pass, and honestly, I don't care for it. Yes, it would go and give an added sense of progression, but if the main game, the core game is good enough, then you don't need it. Going and focusing on adding more weapons, maps, and drones and stuff like that, that will go and be so much more to the game than just adding a battle pass and putting in cosmetics and stuff like that. Going and shoehorning in stuff into a first-person shooter like this, it just isn't needed. The next update is something that affects the maps, and I'm really excited because the screenshots look really cool. Basically, Whipple Games have gone and reworked the lighting on many maps, and it's something they call anti-camping. Basically, the dark spots of the map have become brighter, and it makes it easy to point out enemies that might be camping there. Having a look at some of these screenshots, the maps feel much more alive, much brighter, the flames are much more brighter. Overall, there's more light to the map and it seems less dreary. Now, with that said, I'm really impressed and it looks absolutely fantastic, but what is yet to be seen is if these changes will make the game more difficult to run. So I'm interested to go and test it out myself, do a little bit of benchmarking. Ironsight is generally a very easy game to go and run. I can get a very solid 144 frames per second, but with that said, any performance loss will be a bit sad because free-to-play first-person shooters, they're generally meant to be easy to run. The last little update they have is about the drones, and it's not really an update, more so just a call to the community to go and submit your feedback about the drone system as a whole, because in the current version of the game they are split into tactical and offensive, and so half you can only go and use if you go and choose tactical, half you can use if you choose offensive, so a lot of it is locked out. But on the Korean version there is no separation, you can just pick and choose. Now personally, I would love it if they could go and make it so I could use drones from both sections. It would go and really open up some opportunities. But I'd also like it if they could borrow a little bit more from Call of Duty and have like a specialist mode where I could get perks after a certain amount of kills and turn my character into a bit of a super soldier. It wouldn't really be that overpowered given that in Ironsight the perks are not actually that strong compared to Call of Duty at least, but I like just running around and being a bit of a superhuman, and I think it would be a cool addition at least. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments section below. They then ended a report saying that there was no ETA for the Steam release, but given that they're fixing the game, I'm a-okay with that. Now with that said, I want to very quickly complain about an issue that doesn't get brought up quite a lot, and that's the launcher. It sucks so much. Installing the game is a pain with tons of errors, along with the annoying issue where a backspace will go and remove 2 letters on the login page. In the username, when you hit backspace, it doesn't remove 1, it removes 2. Why? It's been there since the start of Ironsight. Please fix it. Downloading and patching the game is a very big pain, especially when it sometimes gives you an error saying that the whole game needs to be re-downloaded. I get so many comments on my videos saying, Undercover Dudes, how do you fix this error? How do you fix this error? And it's not that when you're in game it crashes or anything like that. It does happen maybe once in a while, but very regular. It's these errors that are cropping up while you're trying to go and download the game. If you can't go and download a game smoothly, then people are just not going to play. It's a very simple thing, and this needs to be fixed. Now naturally a good Steam launch will go and fix a lot of these problems, because when you go and hit play it will just go and take you straight into the game. But with that said, a lot of companies decide to do it very lazily, so you hit play, it takes you to their launcher, and then you have to log into the launcher, and then you have to go into game. It's just another step. It's very painful, and again, go back to the whole launcher problems, it just goes and compounds the issue further. So regardless, the launcher is in a terrible state and it definitely needs to be fixed, but hopefully with a Steam launch it will go and make our lives a little bit easier. But with all of that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go and hit the like button and comment in the comment section below what you're most hyped for with this Ironsight update. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from down under, out.